Working at one of the largest companies, Ren was a president and he was loved by all. He radiates success in the eyes of his team and he was known to be the light in the industry. Ren looked back before entering his office. After closing the door, the workers made an uproar due to his aura and good looks. The employees spread rumors about his greatness and dominance to the company. After loosening his necktie, he pressed a button below his table and snapped his fingers. A collection of manhwas and figurines appeared along with his computer set. Personalized to his desire, he intended to slack, since not slacking means he's not a worker. He already set his mind to clear the dungeon and defeat the Demon King of the game. Ren noticed a sudden change in the game's option. With no hesitation, he chose to select the upgrade extension of the game since he intends to slack more. Some of the workers wonder why he always locks the door to his office. Suddenly, an explosion occurred from Ren's office. With his death, the company won't survive without him. While his death was mourned by the company, Ren realized he had died. Ren woke up and saw his shabby body and armor. He thought he might be dreaming or he's in the underworld. As he looked at the crystal beside him, he was shocked to see that his body was a skeleton. He backed away abruptly and bumped into a wall in surprise. He realized that it all happened due to selecting the upgrade for the game extension. Ren continued to hit his head to the crystal, hoping he would wake up and it's all just a dream. He saw his dashboard and thought that he must have some kind of cheat. Ren stopped and sensed a movement. However, he was too late to notice, and he was cut down by an adventurer. The system showed game over, and the rest of the adventurers wiped out his fellow skeleton soldiers. With his eyes closed, he thought of enjoying life and thought about the theory of life. Suddenly, he was summoned somewhere in a dungeon. He thought he was dead, however he realized that he could be revived since he's a low-level monster. He heard adventurers entering the dungeon and decided to hide. Afraid of dying again without a fight, he crawled his way out of the place. He was shocked to see a spear surprisingly struck between his legs. A female adventurer stepped on him and called its party member. The girl called him easy prey, and Ren realized she was the one who had killed him before. The other lady holding a sword charged at him, but slipped and failed miserably. Ren giggled and the lady saw her. He made the one stepping on him mad, and she slashed him again. After being revived again, he now runs away from a mob of adventurers. While running, the adventurers wondered why a mere skeleton monster was cursing and swearing at them. Suddenly, a high-level patrol monster arrived. The patrol walked past Ren and clashed with the adventurers. Watching the two sides fight, Ren felt relief and thought he was saved. He felt rage thinking they wouldn't even think of sparing a low-level monster like him. He grabbed a sword and started joining the fight. The patrol was shocked to see Ren intervene, beating up every adventurer. With only having the previous two female adventurers left behind, they begged for mercy in front of him. He blushed and fell for their trap. The woman quickly grabbed her sword and dashed toward Ren. He managed to dodge her attack. Shocked by being attacked while trying to communicate, he grabbed the adventurer and slammed her in the ground. Ren told the adventurer that they can't seduce him since he's a skeleton. As the female adventurer tried to plead again for mercy, Ren decided to finish them off completely. He leveled up and was still upset because of the wasted opportunity. He noticed that it got dark, but it was the shadow of the patrol leader behind him. As he pleads that he's one of them, the monster's system couldn't recognize him as one of their own. Ren was tagged as an intruder and he was attacked by the patrol leader. He managed to dodge the skeleton's continuous attacks. He realized that he might not be recognized as a monster due to the transmigrator. Enraged by his situation, he decided to fight the patrol leader. He let it attack him first, then he blocked its attack with his shield. He celebrated early after dodging the patrol's attack. The monster looked back at him and charged once again. With his gaming experience, Ren knew that boss skills have a forward swing. With the right timing, he managed to dodge once again the monster's forward swing. He remembered the second rule, and it was to attack after blocking the enemy with a shield. The monster fell and Ren hoped to show his final attack. Suddenly, the monster rose up despite being severely damaged. Meanwhile, in the ghost forest of the Abyss Undead Kingdom, a young hero named Uni was lost and scared while roaming the forest. The fight continued and the monster dashed towards Ren to deliver its final blow. Ren was shocked and kept telling the monster that the fight should have been over. The monster jumped and raised its sword high. Ren gambled by using the helmet and wore it to block the critical attack he received. Ren survived and told him to stop while wearing the helmet since the monster continued to pursue him. Suddenly, the horse dashed through, ending the monster's life. Ren was shocked to witness the horse kill the patrol leader by running through. Also, he was surprised that the horse became submissive towards him. The system popped up, revealing his skills and stats. He realized that he can level up by killing monsters in the dungeon and he gained a treasure item. Ren was happy with what he earned and claimed that this is the beginning of his journey to becoming the strongest demon king. As he rode through the forest, he found light that could be a village from afar. Meanwhile, Uni was scared and alone in the middle of the ghost forest. The surrounding monsters saw him and they charged at Uni. Somewhere near the mountainside, a green monster just finished feasting on low-level monsters. The monster saw someone approaching from a distance. A group of skeletons charged and ambushed the green monster. Ren dashed and made the finishing blow. Ren was glad to have the helmet, making leveling up easier for him since he can control low-level monsters. With this power, he set his sight on conquering the forest. Suddenly, he heard a commotion nearby. Uni was surrounded by monsters and scared in broad daylight. Ren was shocked to see a child in the middle of a dangerous forest. Uni carelessly swung his sword while the monsters were closing in. Ren charged and slayed every monster in a flash. Uni was stunned. The ground where he stood remained while everything around him vanished. Uni trembled in fear after seeing Ren killing the monster around him. Ren looked back and smiled at Uni while covered in dirt. Uni freaked out and warned Ren not to come near him. As Ren wondered why the kid freaked out upon seeing him, he remembered that he's no longer human. Despite feeling sad about the situation, he tried to communicate with Uni with symbolic poses. Uni understood that Ren wanted to help him and asked Ren if he really wanted to. Ren was rejoiced after having someone who can communicate normally with him again. Ren asked for his name and why he was alone in the forest. Uni answered and claimed that his father put him to trial. Ren was furious due to the father's poor parenting. However, Uni just wanted to go home. Ren couldn't decide what to do with Uni, but he can't leave him alone or even take the kid with him. Uni looked at Ren with his sparkling and pleading eyes. Ren was dazzled by Uni's light and agreed to take Uni with him. Uni was happy and Ren found him adorable. Ren called his horse to come over. When Xiaobai saw Uni, he freaked out and ran away. Ren was pissed not knowing Xiaobai left due to Uni's hero effect. They continued their journey and the Ren sang a song while marching with his small army. Uni was worried that Ren might be a kidnapper who specialized in abducting and selling children. As Ren began to speak, Uni freaked out thinking he's done for. Ren suddenly saw a post and charged towards it. He saw a directional post and read the details. Ren looked back with an annoyed expression. Uni felt scared and hugged a random skeleton soldier. Ren suddenly went in a different direction, claiming they've gone the wrong way. He thought that maybe he could gather valuable information in the nearby town. He reminded Uni that they could fight low-level monsters, however, they should avoid fighting strong ones. As they continued their journey, Ren stopped and saw a monster to target. His troops cheered as Ren told them they will gain a lot of experience points after killing the monster. Ren ordered 3 of his skeleton soldiers to go at the back as the rest surrounded the area. All skeletons are in position behind the rocks. The skeleton dragon woke up and roared fiercely. Ren was shocked and puzzled on why it suddenly woke up. The dragon launched a barrage of sharp bones. All of the skeletons were hit by the large dragon bones. Ren noticed one of the dragon bones and warned Uni to watch out. Uni freaked out and sat down after he saw the incoming dragon bone. Ren was shocked since Uni didn't move out. However, Uni successfully dodged the bone in time. Ren realized that once they're hit, they're done for. Uni was scared and Ren told him to stop running around. He was stunned to witness another barrage of dragon bones. Another one was closing in to him, however, he finally had the courage to jump away. He looked back and was shocked to see that it was a huge bone. Ren's jaw dropped thinking if Uni was just a kid or a child of luck for dodging such a huge object. The bone dragon roared continuously and no soldiers were left alive. With no soldiers left to use, Ren confronted the bone dragon. Uni was surprised to see Ren dash forward and fought. Uni thought that Ren might be protecting him and thought of him as a good person. Despite Ren's efforts, he only managed to land slight damage to the dragon. Uni was worried that Ren might not survive this fight. Uni gathered his courage and held on to his sword, thinking about his father's words. Uni sneaked around the dragon looking for his opportunity to strike. Uni watches Ren behind a boulder and intends to get to the front safely. Ren clashed with the monster with his pride for gaming on the line. Suddenly, Uni hit the dragon's tail with his sword, causing the dragon agony. Ren was surprised with the sudden damage dealt by Uni to the dragon. The monster looked back and saw Uni near its tail. The monster's head leaned over close to Uni. Uni froze, but he now hit the dragon's head, dealing triple the damage again. Ren's jaw dropped again in disbelief while the bone dragon covered its face in fear. With this experience, Uni was no longer afraid and became a brave man. Ren watched Uni beat up the dragon while its tail was stuck in the boulder. The dragon's tail snapped, and it attempted to escape the fight. However, a cliff was nearby. The dragon didn't notice the cliff and fell. Ren was flabbergasted due to the fact that the dragon died by falling to a cliff and he leveled up. Ren was now worried that Uni might become a hot-blooded hero and thought Uni might kill him. Uni was startled when Ren suddenly pointed him out. He pleaded again, asking if Ren will leave him behind. Charmed by Uni's appeal, he agreed to take him in and use him to use him. Uni was weirded out as Ren's grin looked sinister. Ren told Uni he will keep his word and make it back home. The two continued their journey and made it to the town of the undead. Ren read the rules of the undead town before entering. Ren felt ridiculed and was confused that even discrimination was not allowed except for heroes. As Uni complained why heroes are allowed to be discriminated against, Ren was having a hard time trying to explain. Suddenly, a stray dog was running behind them. Uni saw it and pointed out to Ren the dog. Fang noticed them and he suddenly fell in love. Fang rushed towards them and Uni was prepared to take him. However, Fang chose to bite Ren's leg. Furious with the situation, Ren yelled asking who owned the dog with no leash. Common in Sech for support. As Uni and the Ren walked across the town of the dead, they had a look of disappointment. They found out that the town was poor and broken. Ren found an undead tavern to take a break in and asked Yoni to come with him for a break. As they went through the messy tavern, not a single customer was found and the place was a mess. They even walked past the sleeping bartender, which is an undead cow. Ren noticed a magic mirror flashing an advertisement and was shocked to know that it exists in the labyrinth world. Filled with excitement and curiosity, he asked Uni if he had already seen one. Uni told the Ren that his dad had a palm-sized magic mirror and watched his sisters dance using it. Ren noticed that the magic mirror's advertisement ended and worried if it was broken. He was surprised to see the mirror flashing the image of the Demon King and its reminders. He stared at the image shown, trying to recall his memory since the character looks familiar to him. Suddenly, he remembered the image in his previous game and he's thinking about how his world and the game are connected. Ren asked the bartender where to find the Demon King. The bartender looked back while holding his drink and told him the king lives in the palace. Ren was patiently waiting for the bartender to finish uttering his words only to be pointed at the monster phone. He looked troubled by looking at a hand-crank phone, which is a familiar magic item to him. He thought that monsters below 3 meters tall didn't deserve to have a call due to the height of the magic item. After dialing a number, he holds on the phone only to be turned down by the Demon King, saying the line was busy. He was furious when the call got disconnected, even though the call went through. The Demon King was playing with Bella while Ren shouted on the other side. He felt doomed after being turned down again. Frustrated by the useless call, he slammed the speaker on the ground and Fang freaked out. A floating land chained to the ground with a vast castle under the moonlight lies the Demon King's castle. Bella informs the Demon King that High Priest Sal has been waiting for his attention. The Overseer informed the Demon King that a hero will come to their world and ask for aid to stop the invasion. The Demon King paid no attention and laughed at Bella's loss to the game, which made Sal pissed off. Lying on Bella's lap, the Demon King boasts his win, and Sal asks for his attention again. Suddenly, the Demon King got up with confusion asking if it was the hero's arrival. Sal warned the Demon King regarding the hero's crusade. The Demon King felt intense fear due to the high number of times he died under the hero's hand. He took a deep breath and showed a calm demeanor while claiming the advantage of knowing the hero's arrival early. The Demon King bravely called for an emergency meeting to discuss countermeasures. Sal left the Demon King's domain through a portal of fire. The Demon King freaked out while hugging Bella, claiming that he didn't want to die anymore. As Bella told the king that it's his fate to face the heroes, he remembered every cruelty and torment he faced. The Demon King claims that they're more evil and brought endless disaster to their world. While Ren stomped his feet repeatedly due to stress, Fang's bite kept its grip even though the shaking didn't stop. The undead bartender served them drinks while Uni looked gloomy and Ren kept thinking of his current world to his previous game. He slammed the table with eagerness, making Uni and the bartender shocked while asking how he could see the devil. The bartender flashed a magazine with the goddess of death on the front cover. Ren felt weird and shouted at the bartender since the bartender was blushing while handing over the magazine. After an hour, he felt tired of talking to the bartender and he wanted to cut her down due to frustration. While Uni enjoys his meal, Ren grabs his beverage and drinks the deadly liquor. He accidentally dropped his drink, realizing something was wrong. He's now under poison status, which makes things even worse for him and asks Uni for help. After his conversation with the bartender, he found out that he's now at the bottom level of the Demon Land Labyrinth, and he has to overcome several domains before reaching the Demon King's castle. He found out that the goddess of the lowest level, Grim Reaper, could take him to the Demon King's palace. Ren felt worried about meeting the big boss while hoping that no disagreement happened in the past between the Demon King and the Grim Reaper. As he watched Uni and Fang play with each other, he thought of using the hero's aura to enhance his strength. On their way, Ren found a prop shop nearby. As he grinned while showing interest, he decided to look for some awesome equipment. Currently at the Demon King's room, the Demon King is ranting while he's on his bed. Suddenly, the demon generals he summoned arrived with Sal. Witnessing the romance books on the king's bed, Sal felt embarrassed looking at the Demon King's undisciplined behavior. A monster doll named PP surprisingly barged in through a door while being called by a blonde demon girl. PP leaps towards the king's back, making a mess of the situation and Sal smacks them. While blowing off the blood on his nose, the Demon King ordered everyone to proceed to the meeting hall. Sal agreed, and they've now assembled at the meeting hall's table. The Demon King started the discussion with the hero's arrival as their topic. One of the generals raised their concern and mentioned the need for budget or additional manpower to their floor, especially female fairies. Magic Bobby Reba, a demon general, complains about bullying while sitting on the violent King Kong, Dulu's shoulder. Both generals even asked the demon general Hela to agree with them. Hela responded with her dark aura telling them to go away. The two generals were scared of her sudden displeasure. Even the Demon King tried to calm down Hela, but was turned down with just a word. With the king feeling depressed, Reba asked the Crocodile General to take responsibility this time due to the resources he owned. Cage, known as the Capital Crocodile, pointed out that he was not earning well, and he wouldn't even give something to them. Reba was angered by Cage's response, accusing him of plotting a rebellion against the kingdom. Sal struck the ground with the staff, demanding that the general should settle down so others have a chance to speak. Sal put a stop to the commotion caused by the conflict of two generals, giving others time to speak up. As the Demon King weeps while being comforted by Bella, Horn, the Purgatory Demon, was oddly glaring at the king. Reba and Dululu flinched at the words of someone who suggested the removal of the first new levels. Sitting on top of a chandelier was the previous demon girl who offered to take action first. Feyaya, known as the Playful Witch, apologized for being late since she disciplined Pippi before attending the meeting. Dululu shrieked in fear, asking for Pippi, who turned tiny, to be removed, while Reba complained of Pippi's reckless behavior. Looking at the cute tiny monster, Dululu didn't last long and he fainted. Reba was enraged as Feya didn't remove Pippi near Dululu, knowing he can't stand being near the monster. Feya continued to provoke Reba, teasing him he won't get Pippi back. They suddenly stopped arguing as one of the generals suddenly spoke up, asking if they heard her. There was a mirror on one of the chairs, with a coughing voice coming out of it. Luna greets everyone as if it's a live stream. Sal asked if the magic mirror was one of Luna's new creations. Luna reminded everyone of their lessons from the past and suggested that they should all unite for the sake of the entire labyrinth. While Feya eats her dessert, she notices that something's different with Luna. Before Luna could tell them what they needed to do, the magic mirror malfunctioned. Reba and Feya felt disappointed due to the loss of connection with Luna. Disgusted with the malfunction of her mirror, Luna was indulging herself with snacks and was speaking with a green screen behind her. She noticed something was off. The other generals witnessed her real look, since her automatic imaging function failed. Robbie pounced on the magic mirror, praising Luna's cuteness while in her pajamas. Then Luna quickly covered the camera. Reba was shocked with a sudden shot near him. Cage pointed out the gun to Reba. Orn slammed the table, asking Cage why he used his weapon inside the council chamber. Cage calmed down. Dululu was scared, and Reba was blabbering that he would have smashed Cage if he wasn't in his fairy form. The king's vision went blurry as Sal demanded everyone to be quiet in the midst of the chaos. He slammed the table with both hands, gaining the attention of all demon generals. They all stopped and felt the tension with silence. The Demon King suddenly excused himself due to a stomach pain. As the Demon King left, asking everyone to close the meeting, Cage thought the meeting was pointless, and they all started to leave. Reba complained about not getting any benefits and woke up Wolf. One of the generals emerged out of a coffin. With a bright look on his face, Wolf, king of werewolves, left the meeting room with full energy. At the Demon King's bedchamber, the Demon King returns with his group. He kicks the door as they enter while he complains that he's not being taken seriously by his people. He sobbed at Bella's chest, claiming he lost dignity. But he's being comforted that he's still the Demon King and everyone will obey his orders. After being motivated by Bella, he's now eager to recruit new people since his current subordinates are incompetent. The Demon King calls out to all officials, and he needs all of those who are capable of helping him fight the hero. With the Demon King eager to defeat the hero, Bella cheered up after seeing the king's courage. Meanwhile, in the west end of Undead Town, a man sitting on a bench holds a radio magic item. As it announces the recovery of valuable items, it seems that the bandits have pillaged the place. One of the bandits praised the radio and claimed that there are still good items in the poor part of town. The bald guy tossed the magic item to his comrade and asked the old man lying on the ground. He demands for more valuable items while threatening the old man. He threw the old man while yelling that they've roamed the village for days with disappointment. One of the bandits found their faces in a public board and removed the wanted posters while plotting revenge on Hela. The posters reveal that they're a wanted group of bandits with bounties on their heads. Knowing that the people of the town don't stand a chance against them, they proclaim that they now rule the place. Somewhere in a deserted area surrounded with rocks and wooden pillars, Uni encountered a huge porcupine monster. Uni ran away crying while dodging the monster's attacks, while shouting to Ren that it's a non-combat zone. He noticed the monster lifted his axe, attempting to attack Uni. However, he showed up to Uni. He dashed towards a golden quill behind the monster and pulled it out with force. The porcupine roared and cried in pain. After he grabbed the golden quill, Ren fled to the scene, leaving Uni behind with the monster. Uni ran with Ren as they're being chased. Uni asks Ren if what they're doing is valid since his father told him not to steal. However, Ren claims they just said hi to him, and he had more than enough quills. Uni looks back and insists that the monster's expression doesn't approve of their action. The monster slammed its axe to the ground. Terrified of the impact, both of them along with the Fang continued to run. The monster was persistent and Ren kept reminding Uni to run. Suddenly, Ren slammed himself to a wooden sign, letting go of the golden quill. While he was dizzy figuring out what blocked his way, Ren was thankful to find a non-combat zone post. He asked Uni to come with him with a chill attitude while the monster was charging towards them. The porcupine stopped as it noticed the sign. The monster growled at Ren while he was glad to know that non-combat areas are restricting violence. Despite being near a non-combat post, the angered porcupine decided not to be held back by a sign. The monster raised its axe while storing its power, preparing to strike them with its might. As Ren thought the porcupine was bluffing, the monster split the sign in half that shocked the group. Megaphones started showing up on top of the pillars, announcing a repeated warning. The porcupine dashed almost close to grabbing them. The chase reached a neighboring village, and the megaphones started to electrocute the monster for violating the rules. As the monster suffered lightning attacks from the posts, Ren's group was glad they're now saved. Uni and Fang were impressed with the Ren, thinking Ren planned everything. Feeling pleased and proud, Ren mentioned it's just a small thing since they're saved by the rules from the porcupine's rampage. He even taught Uni that he can't always proceed with brute force and learning tactics is important to survive. As Uni was amazed and thought that Ren was smart, he turned it into an opportunity to make Uni his apprentice. Delighted by the offer, Uni accepted the arrangement and called Ren his master. While Uni celebrated with the Fang, Ren thought he'll benefit from having his apprentice keep fighting for him. The group entered a prop store filled with dazzling weapons and magical items. The shopkeeper welcomed them on their arrival and asked if Ren still needed the previous weapon he wanted. Ren asked if what he had was enough as he placed the golden quill on the shopkeeper's desk. The quill glowed in gold, and his balance was paid due to the exchange. Ren obtained his new weapon called Sharp RX Steel Sword. They were surprised to see its sharp blade, shiny golden rain guard, and blue jewels. Astonished by the item's eminence, the trio's eyes sparkled with joy. Ren held the sword with joy and it glowed with elegance. Suddenly, his elbows snapped and dropped the sword. The shopkeeper was surprised and Uni freaked out, asking Ren if he's okay. He held it tight again and swung the sword for a test. Luckily, he sold the items he collected in exchange for a pair of gloves that boosts his strength. Uni was impressed with his way of handling a sword, and Ren felt dreary with how he's good with compliments. As the shopkeeper recommended her service to them once more, Ren was impressed with the shop's items despite the town looking penurious. He noticed that the town shouldn't be in the lumps and asked the shopkeeper why the town is in a state of despair. The shopkeeper claimed that their town was once a famous trade hub and human adventurers often visit. She kept looking for something while explaining that the big leaders used to provide funds for the town's improvement. After making a mess with her search, she finally found a record book of what it was like before. Ren was surprised to see the beauty of the town as he opened the book. The shopkeeper told them that the funding suddenly stopped, which led to the town's progress being left unfinished. She told them that high-ranking monsters took advantage of the town's people, and strong monsters rained terror in the combat zones, which made a huge gap between them and normal citizens. However, she was furious with humans who robbed and harassed them due to loss of order. The shopkeeper wept as she used to have a shopping mall. As she claimed to have different items in store, she suddenly made a distressed pose on the table while blowing his nose with Uni's cape. Ren wondered why the shopkeeper did something weird and Uni thought that the lady was unhygienic. The shopkeeper apologized to them since she's getting agitated. Ren realized that the town was in misery and wondered why the upper layers didn't provide aid. He suddenly had a bright idea. With ill intentions in mind, he asked the shopkeeper if she would accept the treasures from the rich monsters for an exchange. One night in the central district, someone shouted that their treasure was stolen. A monster butler was pissed and chased the culprit. However, he was shocked to see multiple figures of robbers. The butler was confused with the situation and the thief got away. Behind the group of thieves was Ren taking the lead. Ren confirmed that they lost the butler chasing them and he was glad to be unrecognized. He was glad to have the helmet which helped him gain manpower even though he can't control higher level monsters. On the second night, they encountered a shaman-like monster at the Battle Grove, protecting a spell they kept for ages. Ren asked if he would surrender to the spell to spare himself or die protecting it. As Ren charged towards the monster, the shaman was surprised to see Yuri on its back. For the sake of justice, Yuri claims he won't back down. On the third night, they distributed the gold to the poor. Still, Ren intends to exchange the rest of the treasures for his own good. The rumors are spreading to the town that there's a thief in the neighborhood. The rich monsters are now afraid to be targeted by the unknown burglar. With new accessories and upgraded equipment, Ren radiates wealth as he reads the news. He felt great being in the headlines. He recalled what he gained from his robbery and thought that there are still items that he wants to obtain. As he leaned on a wall with style, he noticed a group of kids crossing the street. He remembered that one of the rare items was the fabric with the scent of death. Luckily, the monster kids are wearing them. He reached out to the kids, with a menacing aura asking them for a favor. The kids freaked out and formed a circle, mumbling that they're advised not to talk to strangers as it might be the flying thief. Afraid to encounter the rumored thief, they panicked and ran away. One of the children dropped his book and they all fled from the scene. He tried to sway the kids by offering delicious food. In a nearby pond where nature shines with beauty, two black swans enjoyed their time together. However, their moment was bothered by a chase between Ren and the kids. The female swan was supposed to say something, but the male suggested they stay still and silent to avoid attention from Ren. He runs non-stop pursuing the frazzled kids. The swan couple suddenly noticed the direction that the commotion was heading, and the kids started to run through their heart-shaped form. As the kids hop from one lily pad to another, Ren tries to convince them he's not a bad guy. With his patience running thin, he attempted to dive and show the kids his greatness. Suddenly, he was stuck in between the swans. Ren struggled to let go as he noticed that the swans are too soft to be statues. The male swan whispered that they must lift their heads to let go of him. Ren sprinted out of the scene as the swans kept their elegance in check despite the disturbance. The ruckus made it to the west district of the town, and kids ran into the group of bandits. The kids seek help from the bandits, but the bandits gather up to catch them. Ren stopped and asked why the three bandits were blocking his way. The bandits noticed his flashy appearance and attacked him, thinking they found a fortune. Ren realized that he's being robbed by the bandits. He dodged the attack of the first bandit. He struck the bandit with his sword and hit him with a parry in the face. One bandit down, and he now has to deal with the rest. Surprised by his strength, the bandit stood while the female used a fire spell. Ren stood confidently as the fireball was closing in. He gripped his sword tight and struck the fireball, cutting it in half. With raging flame in his eyes, he belittled the bandits as he expressed his anger. Fueled with rage, Ren thinks it's his time to go berserk. As the bandits saw Ren dash forward, they all panicked. However, the second bandit still attempted to attack him. Ren blocked the bandit's spiked flail with his shield. Then he struck the bandit with his sword. The bandit flew and hit the female bandit, knocking both of them cold. The only one left tried to wake up his fallen comrades. The first bandit tried to escape, but Ren was already on his back. Even though the first bandit was scared, he lifted his weapon and thought of blocking Ren's slash. As their weapons collided, the impact from Ren's sword was so heavy that it made the bandit fall on his knees in fear. After their clash, Ren kicked him, knocking the bandit out with a boot print on the face. Ren recalled all of his past memories of weakness. He claims that he will no longer be bullied. The bald bandit arrived at the scene only to be challenged by Ren alone. As the bald guy pulls out his axe, he thinks it's unreasonable that he's the only one left from their 5-man battalion. He dashed towards Ren along with a swing of his axe. Fiercely, he made his best slash to strike down Ren. However, Ren mocked the bald bandit as he jumped out to dodge. Suddenly, Ren accidentally landed on the enemy's flail and slipped. The bald bandit yelled to his comrades that it's an opportunity to counterattack. The first bandit picked up his wooden weapon and tried to strike him down, but Ren rolled over the ground to avoid it. Rolling on the ground made him dizzy. Then the female bandit threw her daggers towards Ren. Ren barely dodged the daggers, almost hitting his crotch. Outnumbered, he ran away as the bandits chased him down. Angered by losing his teeth, one of the bandits used his crossbow to shoot arrows at Ren. He continued to run while shouting. He made his way back to their hotel and slammed the door open. He called Uni, only to find the Fang and Uni sleeping in the bed comfortably. As soon as Uni was awake, Ren grabbed him and fled from the hotel. With Uni on their way to take revenge, he thought it's time to put his skills to the test. Around the West District alley, the bandits gather around and split their loot. One of the bandits saw Ren's arrival. Ren arrived with his army of lower-level demons. With his command, they all charged towards the bandits. The group of bandits were pissed to see Ren again. As Ren pulls out his sword, Uni asks if the bandits are good humans. Ren dashed towards the fight and claimed to give Uni a practical lesson. The bald guy was having a hard time dealing with numbers despite facing low-level monsters. One of them suggested escaping rather than fighting. The bandit with a mohawk pointed Uni as an easy target. As he approached Uni was really scared, but Ren looked back with a sigh, asking the bandit if he really wanted to die. Ren let the bandits attack Uni, hoping they all learned their lesson. As the fight was over, the bandits all looked beaten up and tied in the middle of the crowd. Ren sat down like a boss and asked their names and their purpose in the town. With the bandits being caught and tied up, Ren started interrogating them. The bald bandit yelled at him that they wouldn't tell them anything. Ren tried to intimidate the bandits as he ordered Daling to show the medicine. The bald bandit laughed at him, mocking Daling for his size while carrying a drink. However, Daling got mad and enlarged himself, making the bald bandit forced to drink the poison. The rest of the bandits cower in fear due to their leader collapsing from the poison drink. Ren asked the rest of the bandits for answers. Eager to survive, the female bandit revealed her name, and the rest of the group did the same. Ren stopped them from telling their nicknames, instead asking for their real ones. One of them bowed continuously and claimed they're just lonely ghosts wandering around. Ren was surprised and confused to discover that the bandits were ghosts. The bandit confessed that they used to be a group of adventurers wanting to conquer the labyrinth. However, they all quickly meet their end by encountering a very strong monster. As the group woke up, they could no longer leave the labyrinth. Being casted out by other adventurers and even ghosts, they have no choice but to resort to thievery. They even tried to seek refuge from the nearby Valley of Spirits. However, the gatekeeper refused since they didn't have enough resentment. Ren felt bad for the bandits after knowing the complicated situation they're in. He asked them what they planned to do moving forward since he's hesitant to accept them in their group. Suddenly, the bandit with a mohawk named Shi-Chi turned into a spirit, which surprised everyone. Ren asked how it happened and Shi-Chi answered that he's been purified by Yuni's sword from their previous clash. While the rest of the bandits watched their comrade float away, Ren looked at Yuni, realizing his sword can free a soul. He thought it's normal for Yuni's sword to have sacred attributes since he's a hero. He asked the rest of the bandits if they wanted to leave, and they all agreed. With everyone having an agreement, he told Yuni to do something good for them, which is to finish them off. Yuni raised the sword without hesitation and accepted Ren's order. Ren walked away happily as the bandits thanked him for setting them free. After being purged by Yuni, Ren noticed something from the commotion. He saw a beautiful necklace left by the bandits which could be worth a lot of money. He took it as a reward for their kindness to the bandits and headed back to the hotel to rest. Outside the town, an army was looking for their king's missing sacred pendant. 2 days later, the trio woke up on a beautiful sunny day. Suddenly, they heard something from a distance. The cavalry that was looking for the missing pendant attacked the town. Breaking everything in their path, they forced their way to every house searching for the magic item. As the trio witnessed the commotion, they're pissed off and feeling bad toward the townspeople. The commander stood in front of them on his horse and saw the pendant on Ren's neck. As the commander found the missing pendant, he ordered his army to gather and seize Ren. Ren told Yuni to run away since they're now being targeted by the cavalry. Warriors charged and mages chanted spells. Ren had no idea while they're chasing him. The commander called Ren a thief and lifted his spear. The trio was scared to death. Ren dodged the commander's attack. He rose up quickly and asked if they could settle things by talking before accusing him as a thief. The commander didn't stop and continued to strike Ren with his spear. Ren quickly blocked the spear with his shield, but he was struggling to hold his ground. The commander claims that Ren had no right to speak because they're not equals. Yuni tried to intercept the commander's attack. However, one swing of the spear was enough to push both Ren and Yuni back. The commander ordered his army to kill them due to resistance. In every corner and shadow around them, the cavalry rounded up to make sure they couldn't leave. Surrounded by the cavalry, Ren stood up against the commander saying he's not the only one with soldiers. Ren's army suddenly popped out and made a surprise attack. He ordered the low-level monsters to attack the commander. However, a lot of them were wiped out by a single swing. With no hope of winning, Ren fled to the scene carrying Yuni and Fang. Realizing that even Yuni's attack wouldn't budge, he whistled and called his horse. Xiaobai arrived and Ren ordered him to take them out of town. The commander and the cavalry were behind them, tracking them down. Ren's escape was blocked by a line of monsters applying for the Demon King's recruitment. Everyone had no clue what's going on. The commander arrived and threw his spear towards Ren. The strong impact launched them straight near the signing table. The townspeople shouted at them for not cutting in line. Ren was too dizzy to realize he just signed a paper. As the registrar confirmed his sign-up was successful, Ren had no idea what happened. The cavalry marched forward, claiming to be the palace patrol, and announced their mission. Ren freaked out since the commander was closing in and pulled out Yuni to escape. In the midst of chaos, Ren fled to the scene and left the town for good. As they continued their journey to get away from the palace patrol, Xiaobai was sweating buckets. Tired with all the running, he collapsed and everyone fell on the ground. Realizing they're outside of town, Ren felt relieved knowing they made it out. Angered by their situation, he thought that wherever he goes, bullies always prey on the weak. Ren rose up with determination and shared Yuni with his wealth code. Feeling pressured by his master, he's being shaken by Ren while complaining about their weakness. Ren decided to train, especially Yuni, to make him stronger as a hero. The crew found a hogshead camp and Ren carefully laid out their plan. He told Yuni that he would take out the rest while Yuni only needed to beat one. After their conversation, he hopped on Xiaobai's back and showed Uni what he got. As the boss of the hogs noticed Ren, the boss ordered his minions to attack. Ren and the low-level pigs clashed, leaving only the boss to Uni. Afraid to get beaten by the boss, Uni agreed to his master's wish despite looking like a mess. Ren's eyes shine bright looking at the loot they gained after defeating the hogs. He complimented Uni for doing a great job while checking the enemy's treasury. On the third day of their training, they raided a skeleton camp. Ren whistled as they travel carrying bags filled with treasure. With Uni on his side, he set a goal to reach level 20 inches 10 days. Ren told Uni he had a little combat experience and to count the monster he killed every day moving forward. Despite being tired from all the fighting, Uni was encouraged by Ren to be strong so he could be a real hero. Feeling motivated, Uni agreed to his master's wishes. On the night of their fourth day, Ren stood near the campfire while cheering for Uni. As Uni struggled to fight all the monsters on his own, Ren continued to eat while gaining experience without joining the fight. A few days passed and the trio was seeking refuge under their tent. Ren wanted to talk to Uni since they can't fight due to the weather, however, Uni was gone. Realizing that Uni might push himself to fight more, he felt guilty for hogging all the experience points in their team. He noticed that Fang was outside, holding on to a dead plant due to the strong wind outside. Fang held onto the plant with all his might while crying. Ren grabbed Fang and asked if something happened to Uni. He followed Fang to find Ren, and they found Uni's sword. Since they only found Uni's sword, Ren was worried since they ended up at the front of Vengeful Spirit Mountain Valley. Ren noticed Fang was uneasy for some reason. Suddenly, they're startled by a mysterious voice asking them if they're looking for Uni. They saw a skull brimming with red aura. The corpse worm popped out and introduced himself. As the worm told them it will be quite an adventure to find Uni, Ren crouched to talk. He was clueless of what happened, and the worm explained what happened. After knowing that the valley spirits take humans to vent out their resentment, Ren was afraid to enter the valley. The worm claimed that no one returned from entering the valley and the place might be full of spirits. After telling everything, he returned to its skull home. Left with no hope of retrieving, Ren was in despair thinking the spirits had taken Uni. He motivated and convinced himself to take Uni back since he was once a real person. With enough courage, Ren entered the valley entrance along with Fang to save Uni. Somewhere inside the valley, Uni was tied in a place surrounded by blue flames. He woke and noticed a group of cloaked monsters holding blue torches. Uni panicked while swinging and the spirits wanted to burn him. The chieftain arrived at the scene, announcing the beginning of a trial. The chieftain opened his book, revealing all of Uni's sins, which isn't actually a sin. They're trying to burn him because of his flashy appearance and superiority amongst others. The chieftain ordered his followers to take Uni away since the trial was over. While Uni struggles to set himself free, Ren was shaking as he traveled in the dark with Fang. He suddenly heard someone and hid fast. He noticed a group of spirits passing by, claiming they're going to be late. Not knowing the spirits' intentions, Ren decided to sneak behind them and follow their trail. He suddenly noticed a machine that might be the one causing the sinister wind. He saw the working spirits report to the leader of the operation. Upon hearing they've captured a couple, the leader said they will judge the couple themselves. The couple was presented to the leader and began to announce their sins. Ren laughed while watching them conduct their trial, thinking if the spirits are even real due to their ridiculous behavior. As he decided to leave the scene, they were shocked to see they'd been spotted by a worker on a break. Surprised to see an intruder, the spirit worker started to use magic to attack. Ren told the spirit to stop chanting, thinking they could settle things peacefully. However, the spirit didn't stop chanting his attack spell. Ren was pissed off due to the spirit not cooperating with him. He then struck down the spirit with his sword, making the spirit left unconscious. He hoped to interrogate it, but the spirit was knocked out quickly. Some of the workers are looking for their missing co-worker, which startled Ren. He called Fang to help hide the spirit's body. Ren used the spirit's uniform and showed up pretending to be the spirit. The workers were infuriated with him and dragged him along with them back to work. Ren left the spirit with Fang and he joined the workers in the mine. As he gets along with the workers, Ren complains while he works since he's here to save Uni. Ren sneaks out and talks to one of the miners, asking what happened to the couple. The miner was delighted to tell him that the couple will be executed along with a child. He asked the miner where would the captured be kept. However, the miner was suspicious of him since he asked so many questions. As he claimed to be curious, a spirit suddenly arrived at the workplace. The spirit suddenly used a megaphone asking all the workers if they were all wronged in life. Ren was left clueless while the workers shouted injustice. As the spirit asked if they all want to return to life by working harder, Ren thought that the slogan was ridiculous. After ending the rally, the team leader suddenly smelled the stench of smoke. He noticed that the cloak of the spirit he's wearing was having a cigarette. Then, the coworker shared that the team leader died from a fire, that's why he's sensitive. The team leader called out to someone who left their work before. Ren hid behind his coworker while the team leader conducted an inspection. He thought his cover would be blown once they found out he's not a spirit. He prepared his sword behind his hand, and the team leader called out to him. Pretending his ankle was twisted, he delayed his way to the team leader. Suddenly, someone admitted to have used a magic item from the captured couple's pocket. As the other spirit confessed his crime, he claims to set the prisoner's hair on fire. The team leader got mad and punished the worker by working overtime. Ren was saved by someone admitting their mistake, thinking that it was a false alarm. New workers arrived, telling the team leader he's being summoned to handle the execution grounds. Since they need other workers to go to the site, the team leader calls out to Ren. Ren thought this as a great opportunity to meet the chieftain and find Uni. As he followed the workers, he thought it would be best to stay silent. However, the workers surprisingly asked him how he died since they thought Ren was the new guy. Ren told the workers he will only tell the story of his death once, so they should listen well. Filled with enthusiasm, the workers were excited to hear his story. Ren sat down and told them that he used to be a hard worker and he was oppressed by his perverted boss. After 20 minutes of storytelling, he ended his story by dying on the day of his promotion and salary increase. The spirit worker cried and claimed his experience was far more miserable than their deaths. After hearing his story, the workers decided to help him if he's in need and treated him as a brother. Ren felt relieved for fooling the workers easily and thought of ditching them after saving Uni. He asked them how the executions are conducted since it's his first time witnessing one. The workers were energetic while telling him that a resentful demon absorbs the presented prisoners. Realizing they talked too long, the workers now intend to rush to the site. Ren told them it's afternoon and was suddenly interrupted by a wave of darkness. He was surprised to see that everything went dark around them. The workers looked terrifying while they looked back, saying there's only day and night in the valley. Ren thought the spirits went crazy after getting dark due to their change in behavior. The time for the trial was near and the workers rushed to watch the execution, leaving Ren behind. With no time to waste, he rushed on the opposite way to look for Uni. He ran through the stairs and removed his cloak, realizing that the spirits are just like demons. As he reaches the top, he calls out to Uni, hoping he's not late. At the trial chamber, spirits chanted to burn the sacrifices. He thought that it's over, and he's late as Ren ran as fast as he could. 4 spirits guard the couple and Uni while waiting for the trial to start. The rest of the spirits arrived through the blue flame holding their torches. The couple cried as they told each other that they will stay together wherever they go, while Uni was shaking in fear. Ren arrived in time to stop the ceremony. The spirits saw Ren's arrival and tried to block him. Ren used his sword to make way towards Uni and used Uni's sword to stab the spirits. While the couple was about to smooch, Ren finally reached Uni and Uni was in tears of joy. He slashed the chains that restricted Uni and ran with him, leaving the couple behind. Suddenly, the ground started to tremble. The ground exploded and a mysterious entity appeared. Ren thought that the huge 4-armed flying monster might be the resentful demon. The demon and Ren clashed, however, the resentful demon was too strong for him. As he dodged the demon's slash, he threw the sword to Uni, asking to help fight it. Uni rushed to take the sword and assisted Ren. The duo did their best to counter the demon. The impact of the demon's attack was so strong that they're thrown off the ground, but Ren grabbed Uni and threw him. Uni used the momentum to spin while Ren dashed to sync with him. As they both sprinted with their blades set ablaze, they shouted with determination to end with a win. Ren and Uni dashed together towards the demon. Landing both of their swords to the monster, they thought that the fight was over. However, their attack did not seem to work. As they both failed miserably, the demon set its eye to Uni. Shocked to see the demon grab his apprentice, Ren charged with no hesitation. Ren and the demon clashed fiercely. As he swung his sword high, Ren focused, landing his attacks on the demon's arms. With pure determination, he finally saved Uni from the demon by landing a heavy strike on its arm. Ren asked Uni to join the fight again. By having Uni at his side once more, both of them managed to push back the demon. With the fight nearing its end, they both managed to land a devastating blow which killed the demon. Ren and Uni leveled up after defeating the demon. Suddenly, a black miasma showed up on top of the demon's corpse. The leader of the spirits appeared, telling them that they ruined the ceremony for their lord Hela. Ren and Uni were sweating after hearing Hela's name again. Weirded out by the leader's behavior, the two stand idly watching the leader's blabbering. The team leader's purpose for everything was for a chance to be the man on Hela's side. Fueled by desire, the leader of the spirits used its power to control the demon. As Ren told Uni that the demon was too fast, he decided to block the attack with his sword. However, the demon was too strong, and Ren failed to deflect its attack. The demon shrieked in pain due to Ren's sword block. Ren and Uni were down after taking the hit. Uni asked if his master was okay, however, Ren barely made it alive. As he tried to reach Uni, his body was destroyed and told Uni he had to be a real hero. Uni grabbed Ren's head as he cried. However, Ren's neck snapped, leaving only his skull and his body to fade away. Shocked at what he's done, Uni ran away with Ren's skull. The demon blocked his way and landed a strong impact on the ground, destroying the floor. Uni fell to the hole, letting go of Ren's skull. As he woke up in the middle of nowhere, Uni found himself in front of a palace entrance, surrounded by pillars with blue flame. Uni escaped the demon's chase. However, he found himself in an unknown place. With only his master's skull and Hela's necklace, he now needs to escape. The palace patrol arrived at the valley, and the spirit leader asked for their purpose. The commander asked if the lost relic was underground. Uni heard and looked at his master's necklace. As he swung his hand, the commander called the Demon King to report. The spirits trembled in fear upon hearing the Demon King's voice asking why his break was interrupted. Uni tried to look around for another way. However, it seems that the only way out is through the palace door. Determined to survive, Uni knew he had to make it out alive. Uni went through the door, and the place was the Imperial Palace. He remembered his master's words, encouraging him to overcome his fear. As he mindlessly roams around the palace, a magic circle activates. Uni was clueless on what was happening, and a monster was summoned. The Emperor's abyssal guard dog arises. At the main hall of the Imperial Palace, 2 magic circles appeared in front of the throne. The Demon King arrived at the Imperial Palace with Bella. As Bella warned the Demon King of Hela's control of territory, the Demon King thought that Hela might not have found the palace before. The Demon King brushed off Bella's warning by saying he's the king, and he was enthusiastic about this new discovery. Bella told the king that he detected an approaching presence, warning that if it's Hela, they might send an army to attack the palace. Shocked to realize his loss of budget due to recruitment, he's desperate to find the treasure before Hela due to Sal's warning about the hero. Meanwhile, Uni runs for his life as the guard dog chases him. As he yells for help, he tries to warn the dog that he'll be mad if the chase continues. Uni was finally pissed and confronted the guard dog. He flashed his sword, claiming he'll show the result of his training. Uni attacked the dog. However, the damage was -1. Realizing he didn't land even the slightest damage, he's doomed. Uni was petrified, asking where his critical attack had gone. As he threw his master's skull, the dog pushed Uni with its paw. Beaten up by the guard dog's attack, he remembered that running away was part of what he learned from his master. The Demon King and Bella noticed a movement from outside. Suddenly, Uni arrived at the chambers with the Demon King. He dropped his master's head, and it rolled towards the Demon King's foot. Clueless to what was happening, the Demon King found Hela's scent on Uni. The Demon King panicked, thinking he's been caught. As Uni saw 2 strangers and the mad dog, he cried, saying he will see his master soon. The guard dog was shocked to see the Demon King. At the depths of the Imperial Palace, an armored monster was sitting on a throne in front of an army. Fang was lost in the mausoleum by mistake. He suddenly bumped himself in the armored monster's boots. Overwhelmed by his nervousness, he peed on the boots with relief. Fang was shocked to see the monster, and it grabbed him. The monster stared at him with curiosity as Fang tried his best to let go from its grip. The monster claimed he'd been asleep for 1,000 years, and he ordered his loyal soldiers to arise. The army's armor glowed red, and all the torches lit up by his command. The monster raised his sword, calling them as the Abyss, and intended to rule over the world. In the midst of the commotion, Fang's soul left his body due to fear. At Hela's palace, she noticed that she lost control of a certain place. She noticed that she lost control over the Imperial Palace. Meanwhile, at the Great Hall, the Demon King laughed, asking if the dog was owned by Uni. Uni was surprised to witness the Demon King standing in front of the guard dog. The Demon King announced himself as he told Uni to not tell Hela of his arrival. Uni was even more surprised to know that he's in the presence of the Demon King. Uni warned the Demon King as the mad dog tried to bite him. The Demon King looked at the dog fiercely, making the dog scared. The guard dog left the Great Hall. As the Demon King apologized for scaring the dog, Uni was terrified of the Demon King. Uni saw his master's skull. The Demon King casually grabbed the skull and asked Uni if he wanted his master to be revived. Uni finally found hope, and Bella looked at his master's skull, claiming it's a rare item. Uni was beaming with light as he asked if they could revive Ren. Bella found Uni adorable and agreed to revive Ren as he threw the skull to the Demon King. The 3 of them found the bedchamber of the Imperial Palace filled with gold and treasure. The Demon King's eyes gleamed as he surrounded himself with gold, thinking he made the trip to visit the palace. Bella and Uni found a casket, and she told him that all they need is a new body for Ren to be revived. The Demon King claimed that it was the body of the Abyss Emperor, the strongest boss during the last generation of the previous Demon King. As he pitied that the soul of the Abyss Emperor was destroyed, leaving only the body, the Demon King grabbed Ren's skull. Despite not being Hela's subordinate, Uni agreed to his promise with the Demon King not to tell of their arrival. The Demon King started to chant his revival spell. A spiral of golden magic surrounded Ren's skull, and the Abyss Emperor's body floated with the Demon King's magic. As the Demon King's incantation finished, Ren made it to level 30 with his new body. Uni cried and he asked if his master returned successfully. Not waking up to his previous body, it took time for Ren to remember everything. He suddenly jumped out of the casket, flexing his energy and new body. The Demon King thought he only put the remnant of a soul to the new body, not expecting Ren to be strong. As Uni leaped to hug Ren, Ren was surprised to witness the Demon King in front of him. The Demon King checked the system and found his real name. Thinking of making Ren a powerful boss subordinate, he intends to train Ren knowing he had potential. The Demon King welcomed Ren since his name was on the recruitment list. Ren was clueless to what the Demon King was saying, but the Demon King stopped realizing Yahello was coming. With Ren having so many questions in mind, the Demon King suddenly pulled Bella and decided to leave quickly. The Demon King opened a portal. As they pass through the portal, the Demon King tells Ren his first trial, which is to find him in his city. After disappearing without a trace, Ren felt depressed after losing his opportunity to talk to the Demon King. Yahello arrived at the scene and checked the hole, which leads to the Imperial Palace. As she flew along with her soldiers, the Demon King hid with Bella behind a rock. With his pride stabbed by their behavior, Bella thought that Yahello's purpose of visit might be different. As Ren enjoys his new body, he's excited to test its strength. The Emperor's guard dog was sleeping. After smelling his master's scent, the dog dashed to meet his master. With a joyful smile and friendly pose, the duo was shocked to see the guard dog, and Uni told Ren that it scared him. The guard dog saw Uni and growled. The dog suddenly charged towards them. Having no clue why the dog attacked, Ren thought the guard dog just arrived to greet his master. Ren raised his fist and landed a devastating blow to the guard dog. Feeling good with his new body, his power stacking skill leveled up. As he intends to avenge his apprentice due to bullying, Ren chases the dog to punish it. Ren stands on top of the beaten guard dog, telling its only chance to be spared is to lead them to an escape route. Overjoyed by the dog's defeat, they rode on top of it as they intended to leave the place. Ren felt a strong wind that caught his attention. Someone suddenly shouted, outraged by its missing body. After hearing the loud voice, the two realized that the Abyss Emperor was looking for his body. They also heard the Emperor ordered its minions to find the intruder. Uni was afraid and hugged his master, while Ren didn't know what to do. They noticed that a door was slowly opening. Afraid of the unknown, the two stood idly waiting for what would appear. Suddenly, cloaked monsters appeared. Ren hit the dog in the head, ordering it to run. They noticed that the monsters were appearing from different directions. He ordered the dog to go right, but the dog didn't follow. Ren pulled the ears of the dog's middle head, ordering it to stop. He pointed out his sword and threatened the guard dog to follow his instructions for it to survive. They were surprised to see an incoming monster heading their way. However, they hid behind the walls, letting the monster pass through. Ren jumped on the dog's head and struck the monster with his sword. After killing the monster, he ordered the dog to keep moving. As they continued to rush out of the hallways, a monster suddenly blocked their way. He struck down the monster they encountered. However, more monsters appeared and are already behind them. Meanwhile, Yahello arrived at the Imperial Palace. She easily wiped out the cloaked monsters on her way. Not knowing what she encountered, she wondered why they suddenly appeared and why so many of them. The blue torches lit up, and the monsters looked back. The Abyss Emperor arrived with his army confronting Yahello. The Emperor asked if Yahello stole his body. While Yahello remembered that the Emperor was the owner of the mausoleum, the Emperor pointed his sword at her, demanding for an answer. Yahello was pissed with the Emperor's arrogance. Meanwhile, in the corridor, the three hid in the bush while the cloaked monsters looked for them. Uni took a peek and told Ren that the monsters are still around. Ren thought he'd peed himself due to fear. However, he can't afford to show signs of weakness in front of his apprentice. Ren sensed something that made him uncomfortable. Uni called out to Ren, telling his master that the monsters are leaving. Curious as to why the monsters left, Ren used this opportunity to leave while they could. As he gently helped Uni out of the bush, he hit the guard dog and ordered it to move out on its own. The dog looked tired and swollen because of Ren's beatings. Meanwhile, the other side of the Imperial Palace turned into a battlefield. As the Abyss Emperor attacked Yahello with his sword, Yahello tried to counter it with her whip. However, the force of the blow hurled her into the wall. The Emperor asked if she felt guilty offending him. Not yet defeated, she told the Emperor that she's the ruler of this land and queen of the undead. Yahello raised his hand and used her gemstone, emitting purple light. As she claimed that she should not be underestimated, she used her queen skill, Deceptive Eye. A huge purple eye appeared and the army fell for her spell. Furious to what she had done to his soldiers, the Emperor released his aura and freed his soldiers from being charmed. Yahello was shocked to see her spell didn't work. The Emperor grabbed Yahello by the neck and slammed her in the wall. He was surprised to discover that she was up against the first king all along, the Abyss Emperor. Yahello had no way of getting out, and the Emperor asked her if she would surrender or be destroyed. Ren was furious, complaining why they couldn't leave the Imperial Palace. Suddenly, the three arrived in the middle of the fight. Ren was terrified since the Emperor looked at him. He tried to escape by apologizing after bothering them. However, the guard dog blocked their way, and Ren even threatened the dog to stay out of the way. The Emperor ordered his subordinates to catch him since the Emperor now found his body. Ren looked clueless, pointing at himself while the soldiers surrounded him. Finally free from the Emperor's attention, Hela flew away and Ren shouted at her asking to save them too. The Emperor pointed his sword at Ren and attacked with a fire beam. Hela tried to save them and deflect the Emperor's attack. However, Hela's gemstone broke and she took a hit. With Hela lying on the ground, Uni asked Ren what they would do with the Emperor's army behind them. One of the soldiers attempted to strike Ren with its axe. However, the soldier freezed. Hela thought that the soldiers couldn't attack the Emperor's remains. A soldier holding a sword tried to dash towards Ren, but was unable to attack too. While sweating buckets, Ren joked around while putting away the sharp weapons out of his way using his finger, claiming there are children present. All of the soldiers dropped their weapons. The Emperor asked Ren how he managed to manipulate the powers of his body. He told him that he'd be willing to tell the long story. However, the Emperor struck Ren with a spell to get him out of the Emperor's body. Watching his master suffer from the Emperor's spell, Uni used his power to free his master. Uni dashed towards the Emperor and made a critical hit to the Emperor's arm. As the Emperor's arm fell to the ground, he felt a familiar force thinking if Uni was a hero. Ren stood and grabbed the Emperor's sword. Suddenly, he ran away while on fire, carrying Uni and the sword. As they stopped at the underground palace entrance gate, Uni pointed out that his master was on fire. Ren feared that he'll turn to ashes and run around like a fool. Suddenly, he transformed into a majestic demon, the Abyss Emperor's human-like form. Uni was surprised to see his master's transformation. Ren was filled with excitement now that he's no longer a skeleton. He felt a force gradually awakening inside him, and he realized that he's very strong. Outside the underground palace gate, Fang's soul roamed and found Hela's body on the side. Ren thought that his strength came from the magic sword that merged with his body. Fang found Uni and Ren. With the three reunited, they're all happy and Uni asks why Fang's appearance was different. Ren saw a person on the corner and decided to check. Upon seeing Hela, Ren was pissed to recall that she was the woman that attempted to escape first before helping them. Uni pleads to Ren, asking to help Hela since they can't leave her alone. He suddenly remembered the magazine that the bartender showed him, recalling that she's the queen of the undead kingdom. After taking a good look at Hela, Ren was mesmerized by her beauty. Uni asked his master if he might be thinking of indecent thoughts, but Ren denied his allegations and asked where he learned things like that. Hela woke up and saw them. Hela raised her hand, setting Ren's clothes on fire. Ren was clueless what just happened and Uni freaked since his master's clothes were all burned. Ren confronted Hela with a complaint due to her rudeness despite being a queen and saving her life. Shocked to witness an unclothed man's body, Hela ordered Ren to stay away from her. Uni was petrified due to shock, while his master carried the queen of the undead carelessly. Suddenly, monsters appeared from the door and attacked them. Ren was surprised with the sudden arrival of the monsters and sensed someone incoming. The guard dog showed up. As he carried Hela on her shoulders, Ren was looking forward to a fight to test his power. Ren summoned his sword and his clothes returned to its original form. The guard dog was not fazed by Ren's aura. Surrounded by monsters with no means of escape, Ren told Uni to get down and tossed Hela up since he's about to show a trick. With one swing of his sword, the flame from the sword wiped out all of the monsters surrounding them. After his attack, the sword vanished and he caught Hela in time. With a smirk on his face, he thought that the sword's power was indeed worthy to be the Abyss Emperor's weapon. The three-headed guard dog tried to run for its life. However, Ren didn't let the dog escape. With a snap of his fingers, the sword pierced the middle head of the guard dog, leaving the two shocked in disbelief. Ren had an idea and asked Fang to come close to him. He dragged Fang's soul using only his finger to the guard dog's body. Fang's soul entered through the nose and a blue skull glowed, replacing the wound on the middle head. Fang was happy with his new body. After being rubbed by his masters, Fang dominated the rest of the heads for control of the guard dog's body. Uni was surprised to see Fang sniffed at his previous master's skull. The skull glowed and Fang disappeared. Clueless to what was happening, Uni and Ren were shocked to see the skull and necklace fused together. Ren obtained a monster dimension summoning ball with a legendary quality, which he thought it's just a pokeball. With his new legendary item, Ren tested the summoning ball and threw it to see if it works like a pokeball. He confirmed it worked, and Fang was summoned. Suddenly, Ren noticed that Hela was quiet. The group felt a strong presence, and Ren told them they can't stay at the palace any longer. The palace rose up from the ground. An army of monsters marched out of the palace. As they witnessed the Emperor's army march, Uni suggested to his master to meet the Demon King to defeat the Abyss Emperor. Ren tried to make a deal with Hela, however, She turned him down and insulted him for being a pervert. He was shocked to hear her response, and her words echoed in her mind. He didn't accept Hella's behavior and started to discipline her while telling her to talk properly to him. As Ren claimed that they could defeat the army together, Hella cried in embarrassment. Hella loses her patience and intends to kill Ren. Upon hearing it, Ren responded with a threat, telling he can't control his hand and he might hurt her. Suddenly, an arrow came out from the sky. Yuni warned Ren of the arrow, and Hella shot her magic fireball towards Ren. However, Ren tried to save Hella and dodged both of the attacks. The arrow and Hella's spell collided, making a fireworks display. Hella and Ren suddenly blushed upon looking at each other. Hella tried to push Ren out of her top. However, she's now on top of Ren. As they locked eyes on one another, Hella's vision was blurry and she felt dizzy. Ren caught Hella on time and asked what happened to her. Meanwhile, on the dead wasteland, the Emperor's army marched towards the villages, wreaking havoc and slaughtered everyone who tried to stop them. Yuni and Ren saw the burned houses and dead villagers. As Yuni intends to defeat the Abyss Emperor, Ren asks him what's good and what's bad. Ren mentioned that he's a demon too and asked Yuni if he's bad. Yuni said that Ren was not bad and the rest of the demons, but his father told him that a hero's purpose was to defeat demons. Ren asked Yuni that if he became a demon king, would he kill him? Yuni felt sad and he couldn't utter words except the word master. Hella was awake after taking a nap and she heard everything while on Ren's back. After traveling a few miles with no progress, Ren summoned Fang to travel faster and used magic circles to travel around the undead wasteland. Yuni spotted Hella's castle from afar. Ren carried Hella all the way to the castle's halls and shouted for help, claiming Hella was hurt. Hella's subordinates quickly prepared a healing magic circle for their master. One of her subordinates asked what happened to her and how she ended up in her current state. Hella's commander of her undead army arrived, reporting the sudden rise of the Imperial Palace and the Imperial Army's pillage. Ren interrupted and told them that they already knew the situation. He suggests that they need to focus on countermeasures. The commander claimed that Hella hates men and asked why Ren was inside their castle. Ren responded, boasting that Hella liked him. Hella heard Ren claim that she likes her. After hearing it, Hella jumped out of the magic circle quickly and attacked Ren with her whip. She warned him to shut up if he didn't want to die. Ren responded with a sigh, saying she's a heartless woman. Hella invited them to come with her since she came up with a strategy to defeat the Abyss King. While the rest of the soldiers followed Hella upstairs, Yuni was tired due to the large steps, while Ren was amazed with the place. Hella opened the door to her chambers. They've reached a floor with a chained flaming crystal at the center. Hella used her magic to reach her remaining subjects and asked them to lend her their strength. As the wave of magic traveled around the land, monsters from the undead town and ghost forest did not hesitate to agree to their queen. Hella explained to Ren that he had the Emperor's body, but his power alone won't be enough to defeat the Emperor. Hella told him that he could use the gathered faith to rival the Emperor, and Ren was glad to hear it. However, she offered to give him the power only if he agreed to sign a slave contract. Yuni whispered to Ren, suggesting they should ask the Demon King for help instead of agreeing to Hella. Ren confidently stood in front of Hella and asked her if she's threatening him. Hella's subordinates were shocked to witness their queen being disciplined by Ren. He continuously disciplined Hella, claiming he won't sign a master-slave contract with her. With no energy left to argue, Ren stopped and left with embarrassment. Hella was left with confusion as she felt a sudden attraction to Ren. Two of her subordinates quickly assisted her and the commander dashed towards Ren with her sword. Ren easily blocked Losi's sword, telling how ungrateful they are after saving their queen. Hella ordered Losi to stop provoking Ren. As she mentioned they needed Ren, Hella coughed blood and felt weak, losing energy due to the Emperor's magic. Hella told Ren he must show enough ability before receiving the power of the undead. On the next day, Ren ran around giving orders regarding their defense. Tired with all the commotion, he wondered why the Demon King was not around to provide help. At the same time, in the Demon King's castle, the Demon King looked doomed while others were fixing the broken teleportation crystal. Bella said it's almost fixed, but the king complained, saying she said it for the 5th time. While Ren was giving orders, Hella looked at her with admiration. After 2 days, the Emperor's army arrived at Hella's territory. Yuni, Hella, and Ren were on top of the castle, while the Abyss Emperor sat on his throne. The battle commenced after the Emperor gave the signal to its army. As the Emperor's army screamed for war with their instruments roaring their battle cry, they charged towards Hella's army. The three noticed that the Emperor's army was advancing and the war had begun. As the Emperor's army charged fiercely, Hella's army felt scared and shocked due to the difference in power. However, a trap was set, and it triggered when the Emperor's army made it near Hella's vanguard. As the Emperor watched his soldiers fall, Yuni was glad the trap worked. While the enemy's front line was reduced, Hella's vanguards held on to their shields and weapons. Hella's army was thriving due to their improved line of defense. The Emperor's army continued to charge without hesitation. Hella's mages and magic beasts joined the fight. Lucy even joined the fight to honor her queen's name. As the fight goes on, Hella watches Ren, claiming he's a master strategist in RPG games. Hella had an unusual feeling towards Ren and remembered the way he disciplined her. Even when she recalled that she hates men, she can't stop blushing while thinking of him. Uni pointed out to Ren that the enemy's flying forces had arrived. Ren ordered the rest of the mages and archers to attack the aerial forces of the enemy side. Hella's female soldiers prepared their huge crossbows and arrows. They all fired at the same time, wiping out the flying monsters. As the Emperor watched his army start to lose, he decided to cast a spell. The Emperor's army received a boost and became more aggressive. The palace patrol ordered the ground troops to withstand and offer their lives to the queen. Ren was furious, thinking the Emperor cheated. Ren asked how much longer do they have to wait for the Faith Crystal to be recharged, but Hella responded that it will take time since the land of undead was vast. As the fight went on, Ren decided to join the fight along with Uni. Both of them emerged in the middle of the battle with a synchronized swing attack. Ren complimented Uni for learning fast due to copying his attack. Suddenly, a huge, mysterious appeared and sprayed green smoke on them. While Uni and Ren's aura protected them, Hella's soldiers melted. The monster stretched out its tongue, causing widespread damage. Ren was agitated, thinking that the Abyss Emperor might be hiding more trump cards. Lucy charged towards the monster while riding her horse. She jumped and finished off the monster with a slash of her sword. Lucy said that she can handle the rest, and both of them have to preserve their energy for their real opponent. Uni and Ren admired the commander after being saved by her. Lucy placed her hope to Ren and Uni to fight the Abyss Emperor. As she pulled her sword, she dashed towards the fight again, to pave the way for them. The soldiers saw a blue spark. It was a lightning strike from Lucy's sword, killing every enemy soldier on her way. She showcased her true power with her skill, followed up with an explosion. Suddenly, a shadow of an enemy appeared behind her. Ren quickly ran to save her. However, he was too late, and it was the Abyss Emperor. Ren felt despair as he witnessed Lucy being hit by the Emperor on her back. Furious by severely hurting her subordinate, Hella rushed and used her whip to attack the Emperor. The Emperor easily caught Hella's whip and noticed that she used the power of faith. Hella chose to absorb the power of faith and ordered Ren to get Lucy to safety. Determined to win the fight, she charged with no hesitation and insisted Ren to leave it to her. Hella and the Abyss Emperor clashed in a 1 versus 1. However, the Emperor was too strong. Hella was still in disadvantage even after using the power of faith, and the Emperor's claws almost hit her. Ren interrupted them by slashing the Emperor's shoulder, while complaining that he's not her subordinate. As the Emperor took a step back, Ren reminded Hella that he should be the one to use the power of faith, since he's the only one who can go toe-to-toe with the Emperor. Hella slapped Ren for accidentally touching her, but Ren only shoved her to safety. As the two argued in the middle of the fight, the Emperor took the opportunity to charge forward. The Emperor focused his power to his first and punched Ren for stealing his body. Due to the strong impact, Ren was knocked out and rolled over the ground. Uni and Lucy were surprised by the damage that the Emperor had dealt to Ren. Hella was enraged by the Emperor's action. She attempted to kick the Emperor with all her might. However, the Emperor easily grabbed her leg. The Emperor asked if Hella would be his concubine or die trying to fight him. Hella didn't answer him, and the Emperor grabbed her leg tight, causing severe pain to Hella. Suddenly, Ren appeared behind the Emperor. Ren stabbed the Emperor in the chest with his sword and freed Hella. Hella's army advanced forward, closing in for a victory. However, they've underestimated the power of the Abyss Emperor. The Emperor pulled out the sword and pointed it to the sky. He casted a spell to resurrect his dead soldiers. Hella was shocked and claimed she can't use the same spell on a whole army. With no options left, Hella pushed Ren, and they both fell to an unknown domain. As soon as they landed, Hella explained to Ren how to transfer the power of faith. She also told him that they can't stay in her magical space for too long, and only a royal demon can wield the power of faith. Since they no longer have time, she can only pass the power of faith once Ren becomes her man. With no idea what happened to Ren and Hella, Uni felt doomed without his master. At Hella's magic domain, their eyes met and both blushed. They embraced each other, and Hella felt comfort in Ren's aura. While Hella transfers the power to Ren, he sees the memories of Hella's past. Hella was about to marry a man named Saar. However, their wedding was interrupted by a rebellion. Their aide warned them about the situation and asked them to escape through the secret passage. Hella pulled his man, and they ran away while the entire place was burning. While Hella suggested to his partner that they should hide together, Saar betrayed her. Clueless to why her fiancé betrayed her, she fell and saw the rebels with him. Hella's memory hit him hard, leaving his heart heavy. Meanwhile, Uni asked Lucy what they should do since Hella and Ren suddenly vanished. Lucy trusts them and tells Uni they should buy them some time. With the rising numbers of the Emperor's army, Hella's army gets weaker as time goes by. Lucy ordered the remaining soldiers to retreat and return to the castle. Everyone quickly entered the castle and closed the door. A magic defense was activated to protect the castle from the Emperor's army. Since the enemy's army couldn't advance, the Emperor raised his sword and used it to strike the castle shield. Hella's army sought refuge inside the castle walls, and Lucy hoped for the return of her master. Meanwhile, in Hella's magic domain, Ren couldn't tolerate any more of Hella's too much attachment. However, Hella claims that by being her man is the only way to gain the power of faith. The castle's defense broke and the Emperor's army charged through. Lucy was prepared again for battle, but they noticed the sudden silence outside. Ren arrived carrying Hella and ordered the Emperor's shoulder to kneel down. The Emperor's army all kneel and Ren tells the Emperor that he'll be back. As the Abyss Emperor looked at Ren, his system covered him with warning signs and danger alerts. Uni and Lucy were glad